So Chuck, I want to thank you for taking time out to do the Art of Fearlessly Doing Business interview. Tell everybody who you are and a little bit about your business.
Sure. My name's Chuck Trautman, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Arizona Marketing Association. I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole life. My first business I had on my own was a sleepy little auto parts store in 1976, and I think I've had 6 other businesses since then, so this is my thing.
And so you're a marketing guru, really, right?
Well, I mean, I'd like to think so. I would never say that about myself, but others have, so it's fair.
So what was the first big fear you had to overcome to get started? Because you're not just a regular kind of brick and mortar business. You're an association, so that's a whole different thought process. Did you have any fear about starting an association?
No, and I'm going to tell you, going way back to the first, I'm a Marine Vietnam vet, and I'm sure all combat vets have gone through the same thing. Fear will kill you. So the first time you get shot at, or the first couple times you get shot at, you are scared to death, but after that you understand and are trained that fear will paralyze you. So apprehension will motivate you. So I've been apprehensive at all my ventures, but never fearful.
So what was the thing that, well, first of all, thank you so much for your service.
You're very welcome.
That's extremely, we're blessed to have men like you serving us, so thank you very much for doing that. And I also think it's interesting how you started off right from the beginning about fear and having it be a choice. So what were you apprehensive about when you got started?
Well, my very first business, I was coming out of being in corporate America, and I was working for the Gage Rubber Company. My customers were auto parts stores and automotive warehouse distributors, and I was calling on auto parts stores, and I knew that I could do a better job running a business and make more money and help more people than those people were, but I had no money. So my largest customer must have recognized that in me, because he said, would you like to have an auto parts store? And I said, yeah, Lou, but I have no money. And he says, well, I'll finance you into one. If you just got a few dollars so I know you're committed, I'll finance you into one. So I moved from Vancouver, Washington to Eugene, Oregon, and bought this store doing $331,000 a year and $76. And 2 years later, we're doing $900,000 a year and expanding to more stores. So I kind of felt like I was right. I had that knack. But the apprehension I had, not the fear, was, you know, coming out of corporate America where you got a steady paycheck coming to all of a sudden having to make it on your own was different.
Did you have any apprehensions about this particular reincarnation of yourself as an association, as the Arizona Marketing
No, it
Association?
evolved. I went along from having an auto parts distribution company, actually bought that person's business, and it was doing $12 million a year, and grew it to $25 million, and sold it and had retail golf equipment stores. And I was going to be retired, but I am really a type A. This retirement life is not for me.
Never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Right.
I've tried it twice, and I hate it. I got to be in the game. So you know, when you get to my age, this giving back's a trite statement, because that sounds like you were owed to you. So I don't feel that way, but you feel the desire to help people not make the same mistakes you do. So I started with a Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle here in Phoenix in 2008, and also was doing some consulting. And along the way, I decided I could serve more if I would start my own association of small businesses. So I did. And the apprehension again was, gee, I would feel bad if I flopped at this and no one became my member. But of course, that didn't come true.
How many members do you have now?
I have 150 now, and growing fast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was the first big bump you came across? You know, that you got the business started, and what was the first big, like, oh geez, kind of moment?
No, I'll take my big bump going way back to the auto parts distribution business. Did a leverage buyout. In those days, they were doing that. Heller would loan you money at a real high interest rate, and First Interstate Bank started a commercial lending division model on the Heller market. It was asset-based loans. They'd loan you money on your inventory and receivables. So to buy that business and to finance it the way it needed to be, I had to sign a personal guarantee for $5 million. Now the good news was I didn't have any money, just like I didn't have $5 million, so I could only lose what I could lose, but still, that was a big bump, getting that financing. I wanted this business, it needed to be sold, but then I had to do a lot of work and shopping to find the money to buy that business.
So every day you're kind of like not knowing where the next thing's going to come from, that real risk taker quality, right? Not even risk. I mean, you have nothing, what do you get to lose? But you have nothing.
Well, I had a metal parts store, so I would have lost $1 million.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to lose. If they took me for $5 million, I didn't have it, I'd move on, you know,
right.
with life. But I wanted it, so that was the bump in the road. The apprehension was, I really want this. I know I can be successful with it, but if I can't get the money, I can't do it. And the other guy I bought it from was having some problems, so he needed to sell too. But it all worked out.
So now you've how many years has the association been operating?
The association has been 5 years, but I really count it from 8 to 17, because it's almost the same business model, not quite, but we were a marketing organization and we are now. But I think about the association, my president, Blaine Elkers, is a great asset to me as well. And our USP, or our unique selling proposition, is that we help educated business owners master direct response marketing. We also facilitate high energy, high impact mastermind groups. So that's what we do.
And so what's the biggest concern right now that you're kind of dealing with?
Well, I think from the concern side, it's that there's so many small businesses that don't know what they're doing. They don't have a plan. They don't have focus. And you can't help everybody. And I believe in the repel to attract theory. So I repel a lot of people to attract more good people. But I'm still troubled by people not having the focus and not being as successful as they could possibly be. And I think it was Jim Rohn who said that we're the average of the 5 people we hang out the most. And I know some of these people are hanging out with the wrong people.
Do you think that people shortchange themselves more often than not, just based upon being fearful, not having that early education like you did to just kind of walk through apprehension? They get stuck at little things about the membership fee or the fill in the blank, and they just stops them in their tracks.
I think they do. I think that a lot of people in business today have real fear. They haven't learned that that's paralyzing. They haven't learned to get rid of it. Fear is only in your mind. It's not anything you can put your hands on. It's all in your mind. So apprehension about things is fair because it makes you sharper. It's like you're going to play in the big game if you're an athlete, or you're going to speak to a group of people and you have that apprehension in your gut, and that makes you sharper. That's motivating. But if you're fearful, you're going to be paralyzed. And paralyzed mind normally takes no action.
So that kind of is a good way to lead us into the last question. What can you tell other people about how you've learned to be fearless? I mean, being in the service, it's kind of you make a decision, right? But over the years, you've had to come across things you're apprehensive about. What tools do you use to change your mind about that?
Well, first of all, with public speaking, I always say I'm not a professional public speaker, because I do not mind getting up there and not being scripted and not being prepared. I kind of like to shoot from the hip, which I know is the wrong way, but gee, Chuck, aren't you afraid to get up in front of all those people? Well, no, because people shot at me before. That was different than looking out at this audience, right?
It's a perspective, right?
Yeah. So that's, I guess, a big thing of it. But as you get confidence in your ability, that's the biggest thing. All of us should make a list. I will give this to the audience of this, is sit down and make a list of all the good things, all the successes you have, not the bad things, but all your successes. And if you do that, you will get this feeling of confidence in your stomach, because you'll say, wow, I shouldn't be worried about this, because look at what I've accomplished. A, B, C, D, E, I am pretty good. And when you can say to yourself, I am pretty good, then the fear goes away and you'll have healthy apprehension, in my opinion.
Well, that's actually really good advice, because I think if you look at the things that you've been able to accomplish, it's kind of hard to focus on the things that you haven't accomplished. And everybody's, I think failure is part of what's necessary to succeed, right?
Well, I think it is too. We learn a lot more from our mistakes than our successes, which is why I say I want people to join my association, and if they listen to me, I will not let them make the mistakes that I made.
That's good. That's a good thing. So, Chuck, I really appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you on May 5th at the Desk Hub for the Art of Fearlessly Doing Business opening. And I look forward to coming to another meeting. I think the next one I'll be able to come to is in April. Tell people about when your meetings meet and how they can come to a meeting.
For most months, and I say that because twice this year it won't be, but our meetings are on the second Wednesday of every month. So our next one is on April 12th. It's always at the Rio Salado College Conference Center down at 2323 West 14th Street. It's a great facility. We do what we call a munch and mingle networking event from 6:30 to 7 in the evening, and then we have content from 7 to 9 where we teach, but more importantly than teach, we have groups do table topics, so you're helping each other also. So there's some mini masterminding within the group. But I encourage people to come, and my email address is easy. It's chuck@azmkt.org. I will give you a free guest pass on me to anybody out there who emails me to check it out on the 12th and see if it's for you.
Well, great. Thanks so much, Chuck, for your time again, and we'll see you in May.
Well, thank you very much.
I'll see you in April, actually.
Yeah, I want to see you on April 12th. Yeah.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.